Hi everybody, welcome back to day 2 of my free low back pain management course. Today we're going to be talking about forward and backwards bending, or flexion and extension. Today we're going to talk about the anatomy involved in forward bending and backward bending. That's again flexion or extension. We're going to talk about posture. We're going to talk about how the low back and the core, or your abs, the front side of our lower body, our lower trunk, are involved. We're going to go over some exercises and some stretches that you can do at home. In the low back, we're basically divided into flexor muscles and extensor muscles. The major flexor muscles are going to be the psoas and the iliacus. The major extensors are going to be your multifidi, your longissimus, and I'm not going to make you remember those. Don't worry, there won't be a test at the end. Now, let's talk about posture. Posture is super important and is definitely a cause of a lot of biomechanical discomfort and pain. As you can see in this slide, on the right, we have what is considered normal or good posture. Some important things to note are that the ears are directly above the middle of the shoulder, and the middle of the shoulder is directly above the hip, which goes all the way down and is directly above the ankle. So we have that nice straight line through the side of the body. We want to avoid overly rounding the neck, overly rounding the back, tucking or untucking the pelvis, all these other mistakes that you see, because this will lead to pain and dysfunction. When you're sitting, there are a couple of things that you want to try because we sit so much in our society to help ensure proper posture and help avoid pain. So you want to start by elongating the spine. You want to make sure that you have your back up against something where it can rest, or that you're sitting on a nice solid surface so that you can engage your core and balance. You want to keep your ears above your shoulders. You want to keep your shoulders above your hips. You want your hips to be level with your knees or higher. You want your knees directly above your ankles, and this is going to ensure the most stable, most comfortable, and most supportive seated posture. Now, let's get into movement. Forward flexion, it's in the name, it's forward bending, or extension is backward bending. Your low back and your core are deeply intertwined. The muscles, in fact, your flexors, extend from the front of the low back bones and cross underneath the intestines and attach to the pelvis on the front side of the body. And so that provides part of your abdominal and your core muscles also. So the core and the low back work together to keep your lower trunk smooth, stable, and pain-free. Basically, in a nutshell, a lot of low back pain comes from weak core muscles. All right, so now we have some exercises that you can try. This first one is called the bird dog or the quadruped exercise. You're going to start on your hands and knees with your arms underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. One at a time, you're going to extend an arm, another arm, a leg, another leg. That's level 1. You can do it like the model is indicating, where you're extending and alternating arm and leg. You're going to do this, engage the abs, hold for 5 seconds, repeat on the other side, and you'll do several sets of these. These are phenomenal core strengthening exercises. Another exercise that everybody loves is the classic crunch. This helps with low back function, low back flexion, and abdominal control. These really are great. The benefit of this exercise cannot be overstated. If you're not occasionally doing ab crunches or some kind of ab workout, you really need to add it into your routine to help prevent low back pain. Another important function of the low back is extension or backward bending. In this picture, you're seeing somebody practicing a yoga pose called baby cobra, where you're lying on your chest and then you extend up through your upper back and neck and you look up and in front of you. When you do this, you're actually engaging all the way through your legs and through your glutes, and that is going to also help you engage your core. So your core is even engaged in this low back extension exercise. So again, the low back and the core are intimately connected. Another wonderful stretch for the low back is child's pose. This you can do by starting on your knees, and then you're going to sit back with your glutes on your ankles and lean forward while stretching out your hands. Hold this position for as long as you like. The longer you stay and the deeper you get, you'll just feel that tension in your low back melt away. It's really yummy. Another great stretch is called the cat-cow pose. You're going to come to that same position that we were in earlier when we were talking about bird dog. You're going to be on your hands and knees with your knees under your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. And then you're going to round your back as much as possible going into cow. You're going to breathe out and drop your stomach to the ground as far as possible. And then breathe in and tuck your abs up to the ceiling. And back to cow. And you can just shift back and forth as you breathe, follow your breath, let that dictate your movement. And this is a really great way to engage the low back, take it through that forward and backward bending, giving you that flexion and extension exercise. Now, if this is helping your pain, please keep going. If it's not, flexion and extension may not be your problem. We're going to continue to cover the rest of the functions of the spine and the other movements. So keep coming back. Make sure you tune in for day 3 so that you can continue with your low back pain maintenance.